Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of pennies, and not just any penny, but the 2015 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. You may be surprised to learn that this little coin, which most of us would just toss into a change jar or leave sitting at the bottom of a drawer, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $18,000 on the current market. That is right. One single penny could be worth more than a brand new car, or even a small down payment on a house. So how is that even possible? Let us start with a little history. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909 and was originally created to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Over the decades, the design has changed, the metal composition has changed, and the mint marks have changed. But one thing has stayed the same: collectors love these coins. And in recent years, the spotlight has turned toward modern pennies, including the 2015 Lincoln cent, especially those minted at the Denver Mint, which carry the D mint mark. Now, the 2015 D Lincoln penny in general is a very common coin. Millions and millions were produced, and most of them are only worth face value. You could probably find one in your pocket change right now. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is the presence of errors or rare varieties. These are the coins that were struck incorrectly or have unique features that make them highly desirable among collectors. What makes a 2015 D Lincoln penny worth $18,000? Let us talk about the known rare errors. The most valuable examples have dramatic doubling errors, which are known as doubled dies. This means that during the minting process, the design was struck more than once, but misaligned. This can cause noticeable doubling in the text, such as the word liberty, the date, or the phrase "In God We Trust." These doubled die varieties are extremely rare and highly sought after. In one documented case, a 2015 D penny with a strong doubled die on the obverse side, meaning the front of the coin, sold at auction for around $18,000. This coin was graded in mint state condition, which means it was nearly flawless and had never been circulated. It had vibrant luster, sharp details, and of course the dramatic doubling that made it so unique. That combination of rarity, condition, and demand is what drives up the value. Other valuable errors that could be found on the 2015 D penny include off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, repunched mint marks, and even transitional errors where the wrong metal composition is used. While these may not reach the $18,000 mark, they can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity and condition. How can you find one of these valuable coins? The answer is simple but not easy. You need to check your change, examine every penny that comes your way, and use a magnifying glass to look closely at the details. Pay special attention to the lettering and numbers. Look for any signs of doubling or anything unusual. You can also buy rolls of pennies from the bank and search through them, which is a popular activity among coin roll hunters. If you think you have found a rare variety or error, the next step is to get it professionally graded. Trusted grading companies like PCGS and NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. A high grade can make a huge difference in value, and it also gives buyers confidence if you ever decide to sell. Now let us talk about the current market. As of today, high-grade 2015 D pennies with major errors are still commanding big money at auction. While not every error coin will reach the $18,000 mark, even minor varieties in good condition can bring impressive returns. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare and unusual pieces, and modern error coins have become a hot niche in the hobby. Do not overlook your pennies. That little copper coin might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, it is always worth taking a closer look. Because one lucky find could change everything. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2015 D Lincoln penny, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, stories, and discoveries. Let us know in the comments if you have ever found a valuable penny or what your favorite coin in your collection is. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking that change. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of pennies, and not just any penny, but the 2015 D mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. You may be surprised to learn that this little coin, which most of us would just toss into a change jar or leave sitting at the bottom of a drawer, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $18,000 on the current market. That is right. One single penny could be worth more than a brand new car, or even a small down payment on a house. So how is that even possible? Let us start with a little history. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909 and was originally created to honor President Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Over the decades, the design has changed, the metal composition has changed, and the mint marks have changed. But one thing has stayed the same: collectors love these coins. And in recent years, the spotlight has turned toward modern pennies, including the 2015 Lincoln cent, especially those minted at the Denver Mint, which carry the D mint mark. Now, the 2015 D Lincoln penny in general is a very common coin. Millions and millions were produced, and most of them are only worth face value. You could probably find one in your pocket change right now. But what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is the presence of errors or rare varieties. These are the coins that were struck incorrectly or have unique features that make them highly desirable among collectors. What makes a 2015 D Lincoln penny worth $18,000? Let us talk about the known rare errors. The most valuable examples have dramatic doubling errors, which are known as doubled dies. This means that during the minting process, the design was struck more than once, but misaligned. This can cause noticeable doubling in the text, such as the word liberty, the date, or the phrase "in God we trust." These doubled die varieties are extremely rare and highly sought after. In one documented case, a 2015 D penny with a strong doubled die on the obverse side, meaning the front of the coin, sold at auction for around $18,000. This coin was graded in mint state condition, which means it was nearly flawless and had never been circulated. It had vibrant luster, sharp details, and of course the dramatic doubling that made it so unique. That combination of rarity, condition, and demand is what drives up the value. Other valuable errors that could be found on the 2015 D penny include off-center strikes, die cracks, die chips, repunched mint marks, and even transitional errors where the wrong metal composition is used. While these may not reach the $18,000 mark, they can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity and condition. How can you find one of these valuable coins? The answer is simple but not easy. You need to check your change, examine every penny that comes your way, and use a magnifying glass to look closely at the details. Pay special attention to the lettering and numbers. Look for any signs of doubling or anything unusual. You can also buy rolls of pennies from the bank and search through them, which is a popular activity among coin roll hunters. If you think you have found a rare variety or error, the next step is to get it professionally graded. Trusted grading companies like PCGS and NGC can authenticate your coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. A high grade can make a huge difference in value, and it also gives buyers confidence if you ever decide to sell. Now let us talk about the current market. As of today, high-grade 2015 D pennies with major errors are still commanding big money at auction. While not every error coin will reach the $18,000 mark, even minor varieties in good condition can bring impressive returns. Collectors are always on the lookout for rare and unusual pieces, and modern error coins have become a hot niche in the hobby. Do not overlook your pennies. That little copper coin might just be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, it is always worth taking a closer look. Because one lucky find could change everything. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2015 D Lincoln penny, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, stories, and discoveries. Let us know in the comments if you have ever found a valuable penny or what your favorite coin in your collection is. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking that change. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we are diving deep into a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket change or tucked away in an old coin jar. We're talking about the 1987 D Lincoln penny, also known as the 1987 D 1-cent coin. You may think it is just an ordinary modern coin, but there is a version of this penny that has reached an unbelievable value of $37,784 on the current coin market. That's right, a single copper-plated zinc penny with a Denver mint mark has made headlines for being worth a small fortune. Let's find out how and why. Now, before we talk about the incredible value, let's first understand the background and history of the 1987 D Lincoln cent. This coin is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. It features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, or the front side, and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the reverse side, designed by Frank Gasparo. The D mint mark just below the date indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the three major U.S. mints, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco, in 1987. The U.S. Mint produced over 4.5 billion of these pennies at the Denver facility. That's right, billions with a B. So you might be asking yourself, how can a coin that was minted in such massive numbers be worth tens of thousands of dollars? And that is exactly what we are here to explore. First, let's talk about what makes certain coins more valuable than others. In the world of numismatics, or coin collecting, there are three main factors that determine value: rarity, demand, and condition. Sometimes a coin can become extremely valuable due to a rare minting error, or due to being preserved in nearly flawless condition. And that's exactly the case with the 1987 D penny we're discussing today. Now let's talk about errors. Mint errors are unintentional mistakes that happen during the coin production process, and collectors love them. Some examples include off-center strikes, doubled dies, wrong planchets, clipped planchets, and die cracks. A very rare 1987 D penny has been known to have a dramatic off-center strike, and another example has a double die obverse. These are extremely rare and often go unnoticed in circulation. Then, we have coins that are valuable simply because they are in exceptional condition. Most pennies are made for circulation and get scratched, worn, or discolored. But once in a while, a coin is saved from circulation immediately after minting and remains in pristine, mint state condition. These high-grade coins are graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, which give a numerical score from 1 to 70. The closer to 70, the better the condition. Now get this. A 1987 D penny graded mint state 68 red by PCGS sold for $37,784. That is because in the entire population of coins from that year and mint, only a tiny handful have achieved that level of perfection. Red means the coin still retains its original red copper color, which is often lost over time as copper oxidizes. A true mint state 68 red is incredibly hard to find from this year, and collectors are willing to pay big bucks to get their hands on it. So, if you have a 1987 D penny, the first thing you should do is check the condition. Is it clean and shiny or heavily worn? Look for any mint errors like doubling in the lettering or unusual shapes. If you find something that looks off, or if your coin looks nearly flawless, it may be worth getting it professionally graded. Even though the chances are low, it only takes one rare coin to hit the jackpot. Now let's talk about the current market. With the growing popularity of coin collecting, the market for rare Lincoln cents has been heating up. While most circulated 1987 D pennies are only worth face value, those in mint condition can go for $1 to $5, and exceptional examples can reach hundreds or even thousands. But as we said before, that one known example at the top of the grading scale fetched over $37,000. That price may fluctuate depending on demand and the economy, but it shows that even modern coins can hold shocking value under the right circumstances. So, how can you increase your chances of finding one of these valuable coins? Start by going through your spare change, old coin rolls, and inherited collections. Pay close attention to dates, mint marks, and the quality of the coins. If something stands out, compare it to pictures online of known errors or use a coin magnifier to look for tiny details. You never know what you might find. And don't forget, even if your coin isn't worth thousands, learning to grade and spot quality coins can turn into a profitable and enjoyable hobby. Coin collecting is about more than just money. It's about history, art, and the thrill of the hunt. To wrap things up, the 1987 D Lincoln penny may seem ordinary, but in rare cases, it can be worth a staggering amount of money. Whether it's due to a rare error or an exceptionally high grade, this coin has proven that even something as common as a penny can hold a hidden fortune. So check your change, look carefully, and you just might be the next lucky collector to uncover a hidden gem. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Until next time, keep collecting, keep hunting, and as always, happy treasure hunting. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into rare coins, hidden treasures, and the incredible stories behind everyday pocket change. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you never know when a penny in your pocket might just turn into a fortune. Today we are uncovering the jaw-dropping story behind the 1981 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now when you hear the words 1 cent, you probably don't think of something that could buy you a car, a vacation, or even a small house. But the truth is, this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth as much as $82,686 on the current market. Yes, you heard that right. A penny worth nearly 83 grand. So how is that even possible? Stick around and let's explore everything you need to know about this amazing piece of numismatic history. Let's start with the basics. The 1981 D penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series, one of the most iconic coin series in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln Cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and quickly became a staple in American coinage. The obverse features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse in 1981 still displayed the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. Now, the D Mint mark on the 1981 penny stands for the Denver Mint, one of the three main mints in the United States that produce circulating coinage. In 1981, the Denver Mint struck over 5 billion Lincoln cents, so by all accounts, this coin is not rare in terms of mintage. But not all 1981 D pennies are created equal, and that's where things get very interesting. There are several factors that can make a 1981 D penny incredibly valuable. The first and most important is condition. Collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are in mint state condition, especially those that grade MS67 or higher. A perfect coin with no wear, strong luster, and sharp strike can be extremely rare, even in a year with massive production like 1981. But beyond condition, there are also errors, varieties, and unique characteristics that can send a coin's value through the roof. One of the most valuable types of errors in 1981 D pennies is the doubled die. While there has not been an officially recognized major doubled die for the 1981 D penny like there has been in earlier years, such as 1955 or 1969's, collectors continue to search for anomalies and die varieties that can command a premium. Small doubling on the lettering or date, if dramatic enough, could spark collector interest and significantly raise the value. Another valuable variety is related to the transition between copper and zinc compositions. Here's a little backstory. In 1982, the United States Mint changed the composition of the penny from 95% copper and 5% zinc to a core of 97.5% zinc with just a copper coating. This was due to rising copper prices, making the production of the penny more expensive than the coin's face value. While this change officially occurred in 1982, there were test runs and planchet stock left over from the earlier years. If a 1981 D penny were ever discovered struck on a zinc planchet instead of the intended copper, it could be an incredible mint error and potentially worth a small fortune. Now you're probably wondering, what makes one specific 1981 D penny worth $82,686? That kind of value is usually reserved for the absolute top of the line. We're talking about a coin in nearly perfect condition with verified rarity and major collector demand. It might have been graded by a top-tier third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC and received a grade of MS68 red, which is nearly unheard of for that issue. Combine that with a strong market for high-end Lincoln cents and the scarcity of such high-grade examples, and boom, you have a penny that commands more than $80,000. It's important to remember that coin values are not just based on rarity alone. Market demand plays a huge role. A particular coin might sell for a record price at auction simply because two or more determined bidders want it badly enough. This creates headlines and sets new benchmarks for future sales. That's exactly how a 1981 D penny that might look ordinary to most people ends up selling for a price that shocks the collecting world. So, how can you tell if your 1981 D penny is worth something? First, take a close look at it under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look for signs of doubling, especially on the lettering, date, or mint mark. Next, check the weight. A copper penny should weigh about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. If you find a 1981D penny that weighs more like a zinc one, you might have an experimental error coin on your hands. Lastly, check the condition. If the coin has never been in circulation and shows no signs of wear, it might be worth sending in for professional grading. Professional grading is a key step in unlocking a coin's true value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS60 being mint state and MS70 being a perfect coin. A certified grade adds credibility and confidence for collectors and can drastically increase the value. Just make sure to go through reputable grading services and always research recent sales of similar coins to get an idea of what your coin might fetch as of today. The top reported auction price for a 1981D penny stands at $82,686. That's an eye-popping figure, and while most examples won't fetch that much, even coins in lesser grades can bring in tens or hundreds of dollars if they're in exceptional shape or feature a desirable error. So next time you get change from a store or dig through an old jar of coins, keep your eyes peeled for that tiny D under the date on a 1981 penny. You might just be holding a piece of copper that could change your life. That's it for today's deep dive into the 1981D Lincoln cent. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below letting us know if you've ever found a valuable coin in your change. And if you want more videos on rare coins, valuable errors, and the hidden treasures in your pockets, don't forget to subscribe and share this with a fellow coin lover. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting! Welcome back to the channel, where we explore rare coins, hidden treasures, and the fascinating stories behind the change in your pocket. Today we're diving deep into one of the most talked about pennies in coin collecting history. Yes, we're talking about the legendary 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny that's making headlines and shaking up auctions. Believe it or not, one of these coins has sold for an eye-popping $62,895. That's right, a single penny turning into a small fortune. So what makes this little copper coin so special, and how can you find one just like it? Stick with me to the end, and we'll cover everything you need to know, from the history to the errors to the current market value of this unbelievable coin. Let's begin by going back to 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. Apple just launched the original Macintosh computer, and somewhere in the United States Mint, a mistake was made that would eventually lead to a penny becoming worth thousands. The 1984 Lincoln cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and as tradition goes with Philadelphia coins from this era, it bears no mint mark. That's normal. But what's not normal is that some of these pennies have a very specific error that makes collectors go absolutely crazy. Before we get into that error, though, let's talk about the design. On the front, or the obverse, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that's been used since 1909. The words "In God We Trust" appear along the top, with liberty on the left and the year 1984 on the right. On the back, or the reverse, you've got the Lincoln Memorial and the inscriptions "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent. Pretty standard stuff. So what makes this coin so special? The answer lies in one word. Doubling. One of the most valuable variations of the 1984 penny is the 1984 doubled die obverse. That's a mouthful, but here's what it means. During the minting process, a mistake occurred when the die that struck the coins had a slightly misaligned image, causing some parts of the design to appear doubled. The most noticeable area? Take a look at Lincoln's ear. On the 1984 doubled die penny, Lincoln appears to have an extra ear just behind the real one. It's not subtle. It looks like a shadow or a second ear, and it's the telltale sign that you've found something rare. Some collectors even refer to it as the extra ear penny, but here's where things get interesting. This isn't just a quirky curiosity. The 1984 doubled die penny has become one of the most sought-after modern era coins in the world. And while most of them sell for a few $100s depending on condition, there are some high-grade examples certified by professional grading services that have reached staggering prices. And yes, The highest known sale price for one of these coins was $62,895. That particular coin was graded Mint State 69 red by PCGS, meaning it was in nearly perfect condition with that bright original red copper color that collectors love. That price isn't just a fluke. It's a testament to how passionate coin collectors are about rare errors and high grades, so how can you tell if you have one of these valuable pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Focus on Lincoln's ear. If you see a distinct doubling or an extra lobe behind the normal ear, you may have struck gold, or rather, copper. Check other parts of the design too. Some examples show doubling on the chin or neck. But the ear is the key. Then check the condition. Is the coin heavily worn, or does it still have its original mint luster? The better the condition, the more it's worth. If you suspect you found the real deal, consider submitting it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading. A certified coin will always command a higher price on the market. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As of today, circulated 1984 double-die pennies in average condition sell anywhere from $50 to $300. Higher-grade examples graded between Mint State 63 to 65 can go for $500 to over $1,000 depending on IPO. But when you get up into Mint State 67 and above, the prices shoot up dramatically. The finest known examples in nearly perfect condition are what fetch those sky-high auction results, and yes, that record-breaking $62,000 sale came from one such example. So what's the takeaway here? Check your change. Seriously, these coins are still out there. People find valuable pennies in rolls from the bank, in jars at home, even tucked away in forgotten drawers. You never know when you might stumble upon a little copper coin that turns out to be a big deal. With millions of 1984 pennies struck, the odds might seem slim, but when even a single cent could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, it's worth taking a closer look. And remember, collecting coins is not just about money. It's about history, curiosity, and the thrill of the hunt. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is more valuable than the coin itself. But in the case of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with the double-die error, you get the best of both worlds. A great story and potentially a huge payday. So next time you get change at the grocery store or crack open that piggy bank from years ago, take a moment to look at your pennies. Especially the ones from 1984. You just might be holding a hidden treasure worth over $62,000. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and rare finds, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next coin that could change your life. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're going to start checking your change. Who knows, your story could be the next big headline. See you in the next video. Welcome back, coin collectors and history lovers. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in American coin history. We are talking about the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A simple copper coin that has stunned collectors and shocked the numismatic world with a staggering current market value of $82,693. Yes, you heard that right. 1 penny. Just 1 cent. That is now worth over $82,000. So grab a seat and stick around as we unravel the story of this incredible coin and how it went from pocket change to life-changing treasure. Let us take a quick journey back in time to understand the origins of this coin. The year was 1974. America was in the midst of significant economic shifts. The Vietnam War had just ended. Inflation was on the rise, and the U.S. Mint was facing growing pressure to reduce costs associated with coin production. Copper prices were increasing fast, and the Mint had begun experimenting with alternative metals for the penny. That is where our story truly begins. In 1974, the standard Lincoln cent was composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But due to rising copper prices, the Mint also created experimental coins using aluminum. Yes, aluminum pennies were made in secret, but never officially released to the public. However, the regular copper cents were still being minted and distributed in large numbers. Now here is where things get really interesting. The 1974 Lincoln cent was struck at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins struck in Philadelphia did not have a mint mark, which is where our famous no mint mark penny comes into play. The vast majority of 1974 Lincoln cents with no mint mark are common and worth only face value. But there is a rare variety of version of this coin with a very specific error or anomaly that has made it incredibly valuable to collectors and investors alike. So what makes this one so special? Experts believe that only a tiny number of 1974 Lincoln cents have this rare combination of features. We are talking about a high-quality strike near flawless condition and sometimes a double die or off-center error. And of course, no mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia. One such coin in near-perfect, uncirculated condition was recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $82,693. That is not a typo. That is the real deal. Imagine finding that in your old coin jar or tucked away in a forgotten collection. Now, let us talk a little more about the design. The obverse or front side of the coin features the classic profile of President Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by Victor David Brenner and has remained virtually unchanged since 1909. The word Liberty appears to the left and the year 1974 appears to the right. The absence of a mint mark under the year confirms that it was minted in Philadelphia. On the reverse or back of the coin, we have the Lincoln Memorial flanked by the words United States of America and the denomination 1 cent. This reverse design was created by Frank Gasparo and was used from 1959 until 2008. So how do you know if your 1974 penny is worth a fortune? First, check for the mint mark. If it is missing, you might have something. But remember, most no mint mark pennies from 1974 are not valuable unless they have specific qualities. Here is what to look for. Number 1, the coin must be in excellent condition. That means no major scratches, no wear, and a bright, shiny finish. Number 2, any doubling of the date or letters could indicate a double die variety. These are highly sought after and can multiply the coin's value dramatically. Number 3, if the coin has a unique strike such as off-center or with strong details, it could be a rare error coin. Number 4, having it certified by a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC is essential. A certified grade of MS67 or higher can mean the difference between a few bucks and tens of thousands of dollars. Now, you might be wondering why collectors are willing to pay so much for this coin. Well, rarity is the key factor. The combination of being struck without a mint mark, having a near-perfect strike, and being in pristine condition makes it extremely hard to find. Add to that the growing popularity of coin collecting and the demand for investment-grade rare coins, and you have a perfect storm for high prices. In fact, in recent years, rare coin prices have surged as more collectors enter the hobby. And with precious metals and historic artifacts gaining more attention than ever, these little copper coins are finally getting the spotlight they deserve. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1974 no mint mark Lincoln penny? First, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not alter it in any way. Next, examine it closely using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look for any doubling or unusual features, then compare it with high-resolution images of known rare examples. You can find these online or through trusted coin dealers. Finally, consider sending it to a grading service. A small fee could help you unlock its true value and possibly change your life. So there you have it, the story of the 1974 no mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. A humble coin with a powerful legacy. From pocket change to over $82,000 in value. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what treasure you might have hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating coin stories, and share this with someone who might just have a rare penny sitting in a drawer. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting!